Hey everyone, Emmett here. Welcome to another devlog. As you can see, I got my coat on, my beard's a bit thicker. We're starting to feel the winter here. It's kind of cold in my office, so gotta get dressed for the occasion. Let's just jump straight into the devlog. Um, After the second fill alpha, I was able to go over a little bit what needs to be added, what needs to be changed. But for the most part, I'm very happy to say that I didn't have to make much, like a lot of changes, so I'm mostly focused on adding new things. I added 11 new levels to the game. They're all themed around concepts of shapes and playing around with different shapes. I really tried pushing the limits of these mechanics and seeing what interesting dynamic levels I can make using these different shapes. I also had to reorganize the levels because at this point, the most difficult levels weren't the ones at the end, and the easiest ones weren't necessarily the beginning. And that was a bit more difficult than I predicted because I used remote settings and a bunch of other stuff. It wasn't just renaming the levels. I had to do a lot more work. So I ended up having to create a whole Python script just to reorganize my levels, but it worked well. Other than that, I also changed the title of the game. It's still called Phil, but more like I changed the graphics for it. I just noticed that all the games I've basically ever played, be it small ones or big ones, they always have like custom fonts or a custom title or some graphic in there, I guess to look more professional. Unfortunately, as you all know, I'm not a graphics designer by any means, but I thought maybe this tiny little touch might be able to make the title a bit more interesting. Um, Other than that, I also refined the analytics in my game. As I said, this is something I've been working on for a while. And what I've done is that I really managed to boil down my analytics to the data that I need and to trigger the right calls at the right time. So right now I'm able to fairly accurately track my players' progress through the levels and understand which levels are more difficult and less difficult just through the data I get, which is very nice. I also swapped the remote settings I was using. Beforehand, I was using the Unity remote settings solution, and I'm currently using the Unity remote config solution. I know the names sound very similar, but in reality, these are two completely different systems that work fairly similarly, but also a bit differently. And that took a bit of time to transfer between them. Anybody who's listening into this in the future and wants to know which one to pick or why I did this, um, Unity remote settings has some hard-coded limits in a system. I think it's like you're only allowed to declare 100 different settings, and that was a massive issue for me since I have just 100 different levels in my game, and each one has a couple of different settings. So Unity remote config doesn't have this limit. You can use it without any issues. I suggest you swap to that. That's why I did it. Regardless of that, Unity remote config also has better settings. You can have a custom like release, not release, but different configurations, and for each one you can have different rules and different parameters, and it's very useful. Other than that, I added a small quality of life improvement, just something very small. Right now, while playing the game, you can click the icon, the little circle, where it says how many moves you have used, and it will tell you how many moves you have left in order to get the 2 stars and the 3 stars. I know until now it was sort of arbitrary. Now we'll be able to actually see it, and hopefully it'll help motivate you to get better and better scores. And last but not least, I'm currently in the middle of adding ads to my game, as I promised in the last devlog. I am using the Google AdMob solution for this. To be honest, this is the topic I've researched the most and worked on the most throughout these past couple of weeks, and I'll explain why in a different video. This is something that I feel like I've researched enough that I'll be able to talk a bit about more as a topic solution rather than a devlog. So I know it won't interest most of you, but in case it does, there'll be a link in the description for a video where I talk a little bit about the world of online advertisement in apps and games and the different options you have and why I went in the specific route that I did. Going forward, I'm hoping to finish with the ads and then release some sort of public test for it, like put the game on the App Store, more like the Google Play Store, send it to my friends, even put some money into advertising it to see if people will be interested in playing it. Very excited about that, honestly. I hope it goes well. So we'll see about that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please give me some feedback if you want these vlogs to be a bit different. Sometimes I know they feel a bit long or a bit too technical. So let me know what you would prefer. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.